Morning, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. How's everyone doing? It is early here, and I look like a bum, and I don't care. I just wanted to share a cool story that happened this morning during my quiet time with everyone while it's fresh on my brain. So, before I do that, actually, do me a favor, drop a comment, say hello. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. Let me know where you're watching from, and yeah, wish me a happy new year. Now it also helps the algorithm, helps more people find this message or this channel, and hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. So anyway, I'm sitting here this morning doing my quiet time as I do every morning. I drink my coffee and I sit right here where I'm at, and I usually start my quiet time with prayer. Sometimes I actually don't even pray. I just kind of like try to sit there in God's presence and just be like marinate in his presence, where it's almost like if I start praying, it almost ruins the moment. It takes away from the moment a little bit. So I usually just start there and just kind of like sit in his presence, kind of try to tune myself to his frequency is the way I think about it, like a radio dial. And I'll sit there for a little bit and then I'll, usually start talking to him about different things that are happening in my life, maybe thoughts I've had over the last 24 hours or processing things through him. And then, you typically get into petitioning, asking, bless this, bless that, bless this person, but help me figure this out, whatever. Anyway, so oftentimes when I'm doing this, especially during the processing part, like talking to God about something that's going on in my life, and sometimes I'm bitching, sometimes I'm venting. Um, God will drop like something, or I don't say God will, because I don't even know it's happening when it happens, but I'll have a thought, I'll think of a certain verse or a story in the Bible or something I'll think of, and then I'll open my devotional. So I usually read from two devotionals. One of them is this one called Daily Light, another one's called Streams in the Desert. That's the two I read from mostly. And I'll think of something and I'll open my devotional, and literally that verse will be in there for the day. And I'm like, blown away, because there's how many verses are there? There's got to be tens of thousands of verses, and the verse that I was thinking of, or the story I was thinking of, will be in my devotional for the day. And I'm like, wild, right? And for me, it's very encouraging because when you're walking by the Spirit, or at least you're trying to, you're not always sure that you're making the right decisions, and did you get off track somewhere, and could you have done better, could you have done more? But having no God communicating with me in this way lets me know that he's capable. I'm hearing him, and he's capable of guiding me and directing me. And it's, I'm not out here lost, if that makes sense. So anyway, this morning I was doing my quiet time and I'm sitting there thinking, and I was like, New Year's Eve is always a challenging night for me because, I used to be this very promiscuous guy, big party promoter, and, committed myself, surrendered my life to God. And with that, I surrendered myself to sexual purity. And I put myself in such a tight box to do it. Like I really sheltered myself to be able to have those long periods of abstinence that I did. First, it was 6 years, and then I backslid. And then it was 12 years combined, 12 or 13 years combined. And I did have a couple isolated mistakes too, and a couple close calls in that time, but it was very close to perfection. But in order to do that, I really sheltered myself, and I suffered because of it. So anyway, and then of course, years later, after all this, I learned the truth about biblical marriage and how a lot of that suffering was unnecessary, because I did meet some great women um, in that time who I probably would have married had I known the truth about biblical marriage. And, of course, none of them hold a candle to my wife. She is amazing. I'm very grateful for where I'm at. I have to say that. But some of the suffering was definitely unnecessary in light of what I found out. And anyway, this Thursday, we're having Glenn Braunstein come in our Man of Options group call, and he's going to actually lead a talk on, is sex before marriage a sin? Now, there's people out there that claim, that it's not a sin. Anyway, it's not something. I'm not looking for a loophole, because I'm not interested in going down that path again. I'm just in search of truth, because I'm finding out there's a lot of um, there's a lot of false information in in mainstream churches these days. A lot of it is based on tradition and not truth. So I'm just trying to search for truth in every way possible, because the truth will set you free, as they say. Anyway, point being is, I was sitting there thinking this morning about where I'm at in my life, emotionally, spiritually, and I'm like, I'm just, like, my wife isn't in the country. She couldn't get back in the United States since she left in August to go visit family. So outside of the month that we spent together in Aruba, we have been apart. And she's not here with me at the party tonight. And I was really, we were looking forward to going together. And I'm just like, man, I'm really not looking forward to going to this party again alone, because I went so many years. I went alone, and it was always a challenging night for me because I was abstinent for all those years, and I had a desire for women, and company and intimacy and physical touch and all the things. And then, of course, New Year's Eve is such a big night, and the opportunity was always there for me, but I was like always, having to shut that down. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm ranting, rambling a little bit, but I was just kind of thinking to God. I was like, God, where I'm at right now in my life, I'm like, you're gonna have to carry me. I said, because I'm tired. You're like, I white knuckled it, and I really, a lot of what I accomplished, I felt like was by sheer determination, like, and putting such strict boundaries on myself. Um, and now I'm like, I need you to do it, God. I need you to carry me, because I don't have the determination like I used to. And if I'm gonna be successful and going wherever you want to take me in life, you're going to have to carry me. And I even thought, when I thought that, I wondered to myself, I was like, I wonder if there's going to be in my devotional, there's going to be that footsteps in the sand was going to be in my devotional. I actually thought, I was like, I wonder if that'll be in my devotional. That would be wild if it was. And I opened my devotional, I opened my daily light, and the first verse, I'm going to read it to you. It says, the Lord your God carried you as a man carries his son, and all the way that you went until you came to this place. Deuteronomy 131. So it's right there. It's like the Lord your God carried you all, as a man carries his son. And then it says, I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them, and he bore them and carried them all the days of old. As an eagle stirs up its nest, hovers over its young, spreading out its wings, taking them up, carrying them on its wings, so the Lord alone led them. Even to your old age, I am he, and even to gray hairs, I will carry you. I will carry you. Yeah, I will carry you. I have made, and I will bear, let me read that one again. Sorry. Even to your old age, I am he. Even to gray hairs, I will carry you. I have made, and I will bear, even I will carry and will deliver you. This is our God forever and ever. He will be our guide even unto death. Yeah. So that was pretty much it. There's a couple more verses here, but I was like, tell me that is not wild. Like, it's happened to me dozens of times now. That's like, so many times, and it's very encouraging. And I know that God doesn't communicate with everybody the same way. He may give you dreams and signs, and he does still give me signs, and some people just have great discernment or whatever, but like sometimes it's through other people. But this is one of the main ways that God communicates with me, and I just really, it blessed me, and yep. So that was it, like, as long as you keep your heart posture, in the right place, and I want to please God, I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, at the end of my life. And God has the ability to get you to the finish line, and that was kind of the message that I got from this is God brought me to this place. And even though I look back on my life and it feels like a bunch of broken pieces and, some regrets, and, like, gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. Or I wish I'd known this, and how much different my life would be, and all that. And it tells me, like, God carried me to this place. He brought me to this place and carried me all the way, and he'll carry me until the days of my old, so anyway, for what it's worth, that's my message. Happy New Year, guys. if you're in Baltimore, I got a big party tonight called Charm City Countdown. Say a prayer for your boy. I could use it. If you haven't gone out and check out one of my videos on silver that I posted a while back. I don't know what's going on with this economy, that this economic collapse that I believe God gave me. Not I believe God gave me a word about this economic collapse. It's coming. Might be a good time to pick up some and prepare yourself. So anyway, Happy New Year. Talk to y'all later.